JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 13th of April 2022, so yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning live session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which is also updated on a daily basis. So yeah, check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, guys, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So after we dropped below that 26,764 territory, yep, as you can see here, the index moved back to the upside. As I mentioned to you yesterday, I was targeting this hurdle initially, but I believe that if we draw a Fibonacci around here, then we'll see that, well, basically it did kind of find support somewhere in the midpoint between that 50 and the 61.8% retracement here on the Fibonacci. So in other words, we can get rid of that, and we can now relook at everything, because at the moment, the index is already closed. It did gain quite, I would say decently, but of course the downside scenario still remains on the table, because even if we push a little bit higher here, for example, if it struggles to overcome that 21-day EMA or even this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 30th of March, then yep, another decline here could be possible. So of course this time we would keep an eye on the current lowest point of April, which is around that 23,304 zone. But for the upside, if you're looking for some higher levels, what I would like to see here is maybe a push. Well, I do understand it. I would be missing out on a bit of territory, but I would like to see a break of this downside line, and first, of course, and then a push up of that 100-day EMA, at least for that, and then we could slowly go aiming for slightly higher levels. Now, of course, we do have this downside line here, which is still kind of something that needs to be considered, but again, in the very near term, yes, like I said, there could be a possibility for some upside, but only if we break this downside line and we push above this this 100-day EMA. Any move up until here could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. Now Shanghai Composite, guys, so this one's also looking quite positive today, however not as positive as Nikkei, but nevertheless it's quite interesting, because if you remember, I talked about this recently, and I said that, well, I'll keep an eye on this hurdle, because if this hurdle provides support and then we see a rebound, then maybe we'll just have to class this as a possible range here, which is kind of roughly between these two levels here, so the 3,160 and the 3,280 levels. So at the moment, like I said, I'm keeping an eye on those. If we do move above the midpoint of this range, inside this range, which is roughly around that 3,226 territory, yeah, if we climb above it, then I'll aim for the upper side of this range, and then we'll just take it from there. The German index, DAX, and yeah, this one did reverse nicely to the upside here yesterday, climbed back above that 14,100 zone. Now let me have a look at what's happening with the cash index right now, because it seems that yes, we are just kind of bang on this area. So I would say if we do drop once again below this hurdle, then below this whole kind of this area right here, this 14,100 zone, then yes, another decline could be possible, guys, because in general, I mean, looking at this, we are still, on a downtrend. We're still trading below this downside line seen from the high of the 5th of January. So, in other words, I mean, even like I said, even if we do see a stronger move to the upside here, we will be very careful near this downside line, near that 21-day EMA, because if all this provides still resistance, then yeah, I mean, this could be just seen as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. So, however, if we do break this downside line and we move somewhere above this 14,603 territory, then yes, more buyers could join in. The S&P 500. So this one's quite interesting. So let me just kind of quickly run through this, and then I'm going to remove all the drawings here, because I think that it's already time to get rid of everything here and just kind of relook at, have a new, fresh look at it. Now, a while ago, if you remember, I kind of talked about this, but this kind of triangle pattern here. I said that if we break the upper side of it, then we'll go for some higher levels. We did. We found some resistance near the 4,637 zone. We then drifted back down and corrected. We kind of did that 50% correction on the Fibonacci. Now, what's next? Can we see a bit of retracement? Well, to be honest, we can, because we can see that the price is currently trading at around 4,427 zones. So that means that we are kind of somewhere. Yeah, first of all, we are above this 50% retracement, so that's one thing, and I think we are also above this 200-day EMA. So in other words, kind of mission accomplished here. I mean, if you remember, recently I talked about this, and I said that if we drop below that 4,455 territory, my next target is this 50% retracement on the Fibonacci, and we managed to reach that perfectly. So now let me get rid of everything here, and we can start fresh. So basically, like I said, we are back above this 200-day EMA. I'm not saying that I'm becoming very positive here on this one, no, because I'm still going to be carefully monitoring these some of these lines. And well, first of all, of course, this downside line taken from the high of the 29th of March. If we do rebound strongly here to the upside, first my first little obstacle here on the way higher is this 100-day EMA together with the 21-day EMA, because they coincide nicely here. So even if we push back up here, I'm gonna keep a close eye on this like I said, this 21-day and the 100-day EMAs. Even if we overcome that, then the last kind of option here for the bears to step in could be near this downside line. However, if this downside line gets broken, well, guess what? I mean, this could open the door towards higher levels. So, so yeah, let's be very careful for now. Let's be very cautious. If you're looking for a level, then probably somewhere maybe this 4,521 zone could be monitored. And depending on how we are going to play out here, of course, today, for example, if we do a strong move sharply to the upside, then yeah, maybe this level won't play out nicely. However, if we do kind of trade around here a little bit below this downside line, above this 200-day EMA, and then if, let's say, we do break this downside line, then maybe this 4,521 level could come in nicely. So at the moment, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this on these two, the 21-day and the 100-day EMAs, and I'm gonna take it from there. If we fall once again below that 200-day EMA, yes, we will start looking at lower levels. However, just to get a little bit more excited with further declines, I would actually prefer to wait for a drop below that 4,381 level, just to kind of kind of simplify my life, let's put it this way. DXY dollar index, so beautiful move higher yesterday, and look at this. We and today as well we went higher and tested the area near the 145 level. Now this is going to be my new barrier for to kind of overcome. Let's see if I'm looking at higher levels, but at the moment, yeah, I mean we're seeing a bit of retracement. I'm not getting bearish yet, because again I do understand that this needs to kind of correct at some point lower, but at the moment it's just pushing nicely to the upside. For me, as I said before, probably I would get a little bit more excited with the downside if we get a drop below this 99.42 zone, just because it previously acted as a nice area of resistance. Now it could take the role of support, so if we break that, then maybe at the same time, depending on how this is going to play out, maybe at the same time we could see a drop below that 21-day EMA, which could potentially kind of add a bit more negativity to the near-term outlook. However, at the moment we're still trading here where we are. We're still trading above that psychological 100 level, so in a way still the upside scenario is not off the table, and we are aiming for the highest point of April, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Yes, the highest point of April of 2020 near the 100.93 zone, and then from there we'll take it from there, basically. Let's put it this way. For now, if you are looking for some downside on this one, guys, you could of course start looking at lower levels if we drop below this 99.97 zone, but again, it could drift lower, it could find support around here again and then rebound and push higher. So that's why I have this 99.42 level as a more acceptable level for me, then we could go to the downside here. Gold. Gold, of course, is pushing nicely to the upside. Of course, that's a little bit of a problem here due to, of course, the dollar is strengthening and gold also is strengthening. But here we are playing out. Gold is playing out as a nice safe haven. So yeah, it is also rallying. However, it's going slowly, step by step. On Monday, if you remember, I talked about this and I said that if we, for me, the more comfortable level for the upside is this break above this 1966 area. However, I will start looking at already some higher levels if we push above that 1915 zone. Well, we got that nice move above that 1950. So we got that push above that 1950 zone. So that's great news. We then tested that 1966 and stayed above it. And now I'll say it this way, that as long as we remain above this 1966 territory, yes, I'll continue aiming higher, especially if it also, let's say for example, clears up the high of yesterday near the 1978 zone. But again, let's wait and see how this is going to play out today. In case this suddenly starts dropping back below this 1966 territory, I'll take a bit of a neutral stand here, because I'm not going to become bearish or anything like that. No, because let's put it this way, if it does move a little bit lower, back below this 1966 zone, then there is still hope here for the bulls maybe to step in somewhere around here. But if we do drop below that 1966 territory, I will aim for this 1950 zone and near this upside line taken from the low of the 29th of March, which also kind of coincides here nicely with that 21-day EMA. So good potential areas for support. However, as I said, I will consider this move only if we do drop and stay below that 1966 territory right here. For now, we are above it, and that's why the upside scenario is the main one for me for now. Now, jumping into WTI oil. So this one's quite interesting because basically we rebounded nicely here yesterday. We pushed higher when we ended up coming closer to this 101.60 level. I talked about this yesterday, if you remember. So basically now I am keeping a close eye on this, because it's going to be quite interesting to see if we can break this downside line or not. This 21-day EMA as well, and this 101.60 level. So if we can do all these things, then there's a good potential here for this for oil to move to the upside. And if you remember, guys, a month ago I talked about, or not a month ago, last month actually, I talked about this idea where I said that, if we, depending on how we're gonna, close here, we closed below that 115 zone. Yes, we formed, this nice kind of inverse hammer here, and we could still see a bit of a push higher. But for example, if this commodity continues to trade below that 115 territory, well, I'm gonna maybe aim for the downside going into I mean, second half of this month, or maybe next month as well. So at the moment, the tricky bit here is this downside line. If we can clear this, then we will go for a few higher levels. But then, of course, we'll keep a close eye on that 115 territory, because I want to see what's going to happen here, if we're going to stay below it or not. But yeah, at the moment, guys, it is how it is. If you manage to capture that drop from here, from this 129 zone, congratulations. But now I think that we might see maybe a bit of a push higher if we break this downside line and we push above that 21-day EMA. Bitcoin so continues to battle that psychological 40,000 mark. So okay, let me redraw a few things here. So first of all, we can put this on the chart. There we go. And yeah, so we're still fighting for that 40,000, or to say the bulls are trying to keep the crypto above that 40,000 mark. Yesterday, of course, and on Monday, we did have that little drop below this, below that 40,000 mark, but yeah, you can see that we quickly rebounded yesterday back above it and stayed above it. I am gonna take a bit of a careful approach here, and to be honest, I'm gonna stand away from it for now, because for me, for the upside, at least in the near term, I would like to see a push above this downside line taken from the high of the 5th of April. If we do climb above this, then yes, I will consider a move back to these EMAs here, and maybe above that. But at the moment, guys, I am very careful. For the downside, let's put it this way, I would need to see a drop below the current lowest point of April, near the 39,204 area. And then, yeah, we could take it from there, guys. So that's in terms of Bitcoin. Jumping into a few pairs very quickly, EURUSD/JPY. So quite interesting developments happening here. So for example, if equities do rebound strongly to the upside, we might see EURUSD/JPY pushing higher as well. But again, before I could get a little bit more excited with the upside, I would prefer to wait for a push through this downside line taken from the high of the 28th of March, and also maybe just for that extra precaution, this 94.32 level marked by the highest point of March. A nice good pop above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could join in. At the moment, what we are seeing here is, yes, we are seeing a push higher, but this downside line is providing resistance. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, it could break eventually, but I mean, it could also hold, don't get me, so that's the reason why I'm kind of just observing this one for now, because if this continues to hold, if this downside continues to hold, then maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. What you can do here is, in the near term, you can keep an eye on this upside line as well, taken from the low, the 31st of March. So if we break this upside line, then that's where potentially more sellers could join in, and in the near term, and drive this one towards that 21-day EMA. But again, let's not rush into anything for now. Let's wait for that confirmation breakout, and then we will just take it from there. NZD/USD. So I talked about this one yesterday as well, and basically what I said to you, that if we stay above all these EMAs, if we push above this 0.6860 zone, and then we manage to climb to above all of the EMAs here, then yes, potentially more buyers could join in here. But yeah, at the moment, you can see here that we have drifted back down. NZD/USD is yeah, it is drifting to the downside. Of course, stronger dollar is not helping this pair, or the bulls of this pair. However, we're still holding on to this upside line, so not everything is lost. in a way, if you're looking for lower levels, wait for a drop below yesterday's low, because if it drops if it drops and stays below the yesterday's low, which is roughly around that 0.6806 zone, then this will confirm a forthcoming lower low. Of course, this will mean that this upside line is broken now, so yep, more sellers could join in. But at the moment, guys, I would strongly suggest to just wait and see here. If you're looking for some upside, then at least start keep an eye on this 0.6860 zone at least, but then we will still have the obstacle of this 200-day EMA. So, but again, if you position yourself carefully, and if you have your stop loss in place, all will be fine, guys. So always have that in place. USDJPY, so this one's pushing nicely to the upside, continues to rally, and well, look at this. I mean, this 125.85 level got violated. I talked about this area, and what I said before, that this is the highest point of 2015, guys. So we're currently climbing above it, and the big question here is, can this stay above this? Yes, we violated that area, but can we stay above that area? Now that's of course a $1 million question here. So at the moment, I would say like this, that if for now I'm still positive on this one, but if by any chance it kind of starts showing me weaknesses near this area, near this 125.85 level, and let's say if I see that it's struggling to kind of push away from this hurdle, then I will take a bit of a careful approach here, because in general, of course, don't get me wrong, I mean, we have moved nicely to the upside here in a very short period of time, and we have distanced ourselves from these EMAs. So of course, a bit of a corrective move here is needed, but when will we get that? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. At the moment, it's just one-way traffic, guys, and that continues to, as you can see here, while we speak, it continues to push higher. But let's be very careful today, and if this by any chance somehow starts dropping back below this 125.85 level, well, I will maybe consider a bit of a retracement. However, I would prefer to wait for a break of this upside line first, and then kind of go for lower levels. US dollar against the Mexican peso. So I looked at this one previously, and let me just refresh this chart, because yeah, it was a while. So US dollar against the Mexican peso, I do look at these pairs occasionally, because as you can see here, after we found beautiful support here near this 19.73 territory, let's round it up here a little bit, we moved nicely to the upside, but found resistance near this 21-day EMA and near this the lowest point of February, near the 20.16 zone. So or actually we found the resistance a little bit higher here near this 20.19 area, from which we reversed back down, and we're now drifting towards that lowest point of April, the current lowest point of April, near that 19.73 level. If we clear that, then yes, this is where I'll start aiming lower. But I will only aim for this level right here, this lowest point of June of 2021, just because, I mean, it's quite a good area of support here, and we you can see here from here we reversed higher, and we kind of rallied nicely for, I think, for the half a year. Yep, now we're drifting to the downside. Slightly below that, there is this other target, the lowest point of January, or in other words, the lowest point of 2021, which could also get tested, and that area is roughly around that 19.55 level. So in general, what I can say here is that if we do drop below this 19.73 zone, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially could open the door towards this next area in between, the next support area between the 19.55 and 19.60 levels, and then of course we'll just take it from there, guys. For the upside, I would like to see a push above this 20.19 zone. I do understand that this, this is quite a an area here to wait, but rather be safe than sorry. GBP CAD, very quickly on this one. Before I run out of time, guys, I need to quickly run through these, but a quick update, not going to talk too much on GBP CAD because I talked about it yesterday. We failed to move above this 1.6464 level. Still watching it because it's still relevant because we're still above this short-term tentative upside line taken from the low the 5th of April. So if we do rebound from it, then yeah, I'll keep an eye on this 1.6464 level. If we pop and stay above it, then yes, I'll go for that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is roughly around that 1.6551 level. GBPUSD, this is a slightly different story here. I mean, we have a stronger dollar, which is pushing both the euro and the euro and the pound lower, and of course, looking at this technical picture, you can see that yeah, we are near a key support zone. So if you're looking for some downside, then at least wait for a drop again below that 1.30 zone. The psychological 1.30 area is still providing that support. If we drop below it, then yeah, and we stay below it, then yes, I'll go for lower levels where my next target is the 1.2854 area right here. Euro Aussie, also quick update. So we continued to trade below this downside line, and we drifted below this 1.4566 area. I talked about this yesterday. So now we're seeing a bit of a retracement. However, this 1.4566 area is providing good resistance. Now, if of course, as long as we continue to trade below this downside line and below this hurdle, I will aim lower. If we push through this downside line, and then if we push above the this barrier right here, the high of yesterday near the 1.4689, then yes, I will consider a move to the upside, at least in the near term. And there we go, EURUSD. So mission accomplished. I talked a lot about this, and I said that look at this. I mean, if we find resistance near the 1.0945 level, then we could see another slide where my next target will be this lowest point of March, which we managed to reach perfectly, and that area is near the 1.0806 level. Now the big question here is, can we go further south? Now let me just grab this line here, and we'll probably reuse it. This arrow. So in other words, what I'm looking at right now here is also I need a confirmation break below that 1.0806 area right here. If we do get that and we stay below it, first of all, of course, a break would confirm a forthcoming lower low. More sellers could join in, but then what I'm going to aim here for is this initially 1.0727 zone, and then I will target this level right here, the 1.0636, which is the lowest point of March of 2020, guys. At the moment, it seems like yeah, we are on the right track here towards the downside, but a confirmation break is still needed. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for your views, your likes, guys. I really appreciate that. So if you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso live 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, guys, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. So thank you very much, and bye-bye.